Hello, luxury real estate agents. Today we're going to talk about another one of my forms, the listing evaluation form. And you're going to love this form because it really helps you drive home to the seller the importance of making sure every aspect of the listing is really optimized to have it sell in a short amount of time for the highest price. Anyway, as Mike Ferry has often said, a good listing will solve almost any problem you're having in life or in the real estate business. So let's talk about how we can use this form to turn a regular listing into a good listing. We all know that there are certain aspects of a listing that make it good. First of all, there's the price, then there's the seller's motivation, and of course there's a condition, and there's a bunch of other things too. There's 6 in all that I have in this listing evaluation form. If you look carefully at the form, we talk about motivation, condition, offering price in the current market, access for showing, and location compared to other offerings, and how long has it been on the market already. And I'm going to X out of here, and I'm going to open up an actual live version of this form that we can look at, and I can demonstrate how it works. Now, basically, I've already filled out the information with today's date and the address of the listing, but what happens is in each one of these 6 areas, we give the seller a ranking of 1 to 10. So let's look at motivation. In this case, the seller keeps telling me that he's not really that motivated, doesn't care if it ever sells, just really wants to get his price. I'm in no rush, I'm in no rush, I'm in no rush is what I hear from this person all the time. So he gets a 1 in this category. Condition, this property is really in pretty good condition. In fact, it's in great condition compared to a lot of the competing offerings of the market. So I gave it an 8. On the other hand, the price is not as good as it could be, so I only gave it a 5. This particular seller really makes it hard to show the property. In fact, I'm going to change it to a 1 because it's like the second Tuesday with 48 hours notice, the second Tuesday of the month where the moon is full, whatever, just some crazy rules for showing the property, which makes it really cumbersome. Location is really good. I gave it an 8, and it's already been on the market for about 90 days, so I gave it a 5. So you can see the total score is a 28. And down here at the bottom, the spreadsheet automatically gives it a score of 47%. And if we look at the guide down here at the bottom, we find that 50% or less do not take the listing. If it's already listed, make some changes or give it back to the seller. So with a 47%, this property is really not going to sell anytime soon. So what can we do to improve things? Well, let's say, first of all, access to showing. Let's say we talk to the seller and say, listen, we have people come to see us spur of the moment. We need to have quicker, easier access to your property. I need to have a key or a lockbox or something. And the seller agrees, so we give him a 9 on this score. We go from a 1 to a 9. Look what it does to the score. It drops up to a 60%. However, 60% just brings it into the second category. We still need to make major adjustments in several areas to increase the saleability, or if we can't do that, cancel the listing. So we've increased the access. It's hard to change a seller's motivation unless maybe something changes in their life. They find another property they want to buy, or they find someplace they want to go. So let's say that happens and the seller's motivation goes from could care less if it ever sells to getting a 5. What does that do to the score? Now they're up to 67%, which means they're doing better, but they're still down here where they need to make adjustments to increase the listing's saleability. Guess what? That's going to bring us back to price. We really need to talk about the price of this house. I suggest we do a reduction of at least 10% to get things right on the mark. So let's say we do that. Now we get this area to a 9, and now look at our score. We're up to 73%. Still not where we need to be, however. So we need to find other ways to increase the score. But you see how using this matrix really helps illustrate to a seller how these different factors governing the sale of a property really can control the outcome that they want to have. So let's say we can get their motivation up to an 8, and let's say we can get that's really all we can change here. We can't change the location, we can't change access, but you can see once we get it up to making that change, we get to a 78, and now we say it could take as long as 180 days to get the property to sell. So we need to look at ways we can increase the saleability index. And basically, when it's already been on the market for 90 days, that tells us that we need to work on a few things like get these 8s to 10s, like really get their motivation up there. And maybe there's some things they need to do to get the property in better shape. Maybe clean the carpets, maybe do some landscaping around the yard. We need to get this to a 10 at least. And maybe they need to get more aggressive in the price. Maybe that 10% wasn't enough. Maybe they need to go to 15%. And again, maybe they need to let us show the property on a moment's notice. So that gives it another 10. We do all these things. Now we're up to 88%. We're getting close. 90 is where we want to be. So to get to a 90 is going to be tough because everything's a 10, except for location and length of time on the market. So I guess what you could possibly do is resubmit it as a new listing and try to change the address or something to set the clock back. And now you can get it to a 93%, which means it should sell in the next 45 days if you've been honest on all these factors. So let's go back to our PowerPoint here and just summarize things really quickly. Show me is way better than tell me. When you have a graphic like this, using the spreadsheet can really help drive home to the seller the importance of having all these factors in their favor in these 6 critical areas that we talked about. It's the best way to demonstrate to the seller the importance of each one of these factors by going through an exercise just as I did to show them how they all come together to make the property more saleable. That's all we have for today. Don't forget, if you order my book, Selling Luxury Homes for $29.95, it includes $100 worth of free downloads, including 3 other spreadsheets that we'll talk more about. We talked about 2 of them in the last 2 weeks, and I'm going to talk about another one next week. And I'll also, if you send me an email, give you a copy of my listing evaluation form if you want to try it out. Also, don't forget that if you buy my book, you get a 20-minute consultation call worth $400. Here's what the certificate looks like. So if you buy all 3 books, you can save a lot of money. So until next time, make it a great week. I look forward to hearing from you, and all best.